Hey everyone, welcome to the Do the Thing podcast. This is your host, Stacey Lauren. Well, you guys, this is exciting. I just love how I get to meet people as I'm just doing the thing, right? And I'm really grateful for Laura Carney because she ended up introducing a Do the Thing challenge into the Modern Prairie community. When we were doing the bucket list challenge in the Do the Thing community, Modern Prairie had invited her to come in and be a trusted prairian. And she ended up saying, well, I'm doing a Do the Thing challenge with Stacey Lauren. And how about we do the bucket list challenge that we just did in her community, in that community? And so I ended up then also becoming a trusted prairian. And we are now on our third challenge. We did the bucket list challenge, we did the Find Your Voice challenge, and now we're doing Follow Your Heart. And that is how I met my next guest, which is so cool. You're going to get to meet Kim Baker, and she's a community liaison for Modern Prairie and also helps support the community and just is really encouraging and supportive with all the members. And I love being able to talk to people about why you're even joining a community and the power that you get when you're in one and how that actually helps you achieve your goals. And so I'm so excited to talk to her and hear her Do the Thing story, and then also hear how she's helping other people with their Do the Thing story as well. And so I am excited to welcome Kim to the show. Hey, Kim.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I had a good day today on Modern Prairie and the Do Your Thing and Follow Your Heart.
That's great. Well, let's start there. So when you say that, what was it? What got you excited about it?
Well, the challenge today was gratitude. And so I started thinking there's so many things that I can be thankful for. I can say a family member or my car or whatever. And I started thinking, well, in this community, in the Modern Prairie community, what am I most thankful for? And what I came up with was 5 years ago, I was in the darkest place that I could ever be. And I ended up enrolling in college to get my mind off of what was going on at the time. And if you knew about my history, then that is a huge accomplishment. I grew up in a very violent home and I am 100% French. I was bullied, teased, beat up because I lived in a non-French town. We had moved to another kind of town. And at the time in the 60s, it was an Irish town. The Irish didn't like the French. I don't know why. And I took the brunt of it. So I grew up in a violent home, alcoholic home as well. And I did not know how to speak English till I was in second grade. And I didn't read. And so when I joined Modern Prairie and there was the Prairie Pages and then there was this challenge and this, it just started opening up so many goals of mine because I had to learn how to read later on in life. I mean, in grade school, but it was very challenging. And we didn't own any books in my home. And so when I started going to college at 55, that's when I started really like, wow, oh, look at this music appreciation. Oh, look at this history. And it was just amazing. A whole world opened up to me. So it all started 5 years ago with me finding myself because of my daughter moving out in the middle of the night suddenly. I didn't know where she was for 5 months. It sent me down a really bad downhill spiral. My health suffered. I didn't know what I was going to do. It was either I was going to give up or I was going to find myself. And who was I? I mean, I lived for my children. They were my life. And now I'm an empty nester with issues. So I learned to play guitar. I learned to paint on canvas. I did some vlogs. I became a heavy influencer on social media for a while. I did marketing. I became a teacher in grade school. I did a lot during those 5 years. But then, so here's my garden. It's blooming. It's doing great. I'm keeping busy and I'm doing different because it was different. It wasn't, and that's what I say today is just do different. Everything was just different because you go from raising your kids and all of a sudden, boom, they're gone and you're lost. I lost a part of myself because I put myself into their lives so heavily that I lost myself. And so now I was doing different and I was finding myself, but then it crashed. and the weeds started to grow, and I became sick, and I had to get surgeries, and I got diagnosed with many different ailments, and I started gaining weight, and I just started withdrawing once again. That's when I found Modern Prairie. And this was last year, about a year ago. And that was the biggest change of my life. I found myself, Modern Prairie was watering me, it was cultivating me. My garden was starting to grow again, and I could see the light. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I have all these goals in my mind of all of this creativity that's inside of me that had come out back in 2020 up until 2024, but it was being buried with all the weeds of what was happening in my life. And so here it was sprouting again. And I was able to share my talents and my abilities with the community and find like-minded prairians that also were going through the same thing that I was, over 50, gaining weight, sad, empty nesters, trying to find themselves, trying to find a platform to express themselves, whether that's through art or music or writing a book or doing a podcast or just finding an outlet to express themselves. And I just grasped onto that. It was like a magnet, and I just started becoming involved in the community and in their lives and trying to relate and putting myself in their shoes, because there were so many prairians that had so much in common. We're all different, but there's a commonality within the community as well. I can't even explain it. It's magical. It's just phenomenal. And it isn't Facebook, and it isn't Instagram, and it isn't your normal social media platform. It's something different. And that's what I always have been doing these past 5 years, is it would go from different to different to different to different. And I was having to learn how to live different and just do it and not give up, but just do it. And so then this particular different from Modern Prairie was like, what's going on? This is so good. This is such a good different. And I'm just going to latch on to this. And so that's what began my journey with Modern Prairie. I started sharing my talents with the community. I started encouraging others. I started getting messages. It just snowballed from there. And so now I'm a community liaison for Modern Prairie. And I absolutely love it because that's my gift. I found my gift is to share and encourage others, promote their groups, promote their events, talk with the prairians. I've got my own birthday database where I'm collecting all of their birthdays so I can wish them a happy birthday. I've got my checkup prairian weekly checkup on the prairians where I'm saving all the information of everybody who's asking for prayer, good thoughts, positive vibes. I'm keeping track of their names. I'm going back and I'm checking on them. And I'm there. So if anybody needs me to promote them or to be there for them, or I will make announcements on Modern Prairie as to what's coming up next, and encourage the prairians to get involved, because it's so important that you don't sit there and wallow in your different. And you do different in a positive way, because we're all doing different, and different just happens, but it can be so negative and you can look at it so negatively. But I encourage people, I'm constantly saying, come to Modern Prairie. And you have to look at the events, and I talk to them about your challenges on there and how much of a difference it makes. And last year it was Find Your Voice, and it was phenomenal. And I didn't like to videotape myself, but I did get out of that discomfort and I came out of that shell. And so I just wanted to talk about that today because it's so important, because it gave me purpose again. My purpose was always in my kids. And now I'm doing me, I'm doing different in a good way. I'm sharing my talents and my creativity with a community that is also doing the same thing with other prairians. And we're like-minded, but yet different. So I love it. I'm just enjoying it. And I love the challenge. I just absolutely love the challenge. And that's what I wrote today on there, is that this is perfect for me. The follow your heart, to get out there and encourage other people. Wow. This is what it's all about for me. So this really hit home.
Oh, I love that. It's so good. And I totally know what you mean. It's like when you're in that dark place and you don't know how you're going to get out, and then you find the right group, right, that has the common bond, common goal. And then all of a sudden, it's different than a support group, where support groups have their place and their time, but then there can be a level of like trauma bonding because you're stuck in it, right? But because Modern Prairie has so many events and challenges and so much aliveness, book clubs and all this stuff, it's like the common goal is what now each group gives people a space to have a shared experience, where now you get to connect towards something versus wallow in that same place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is so special. We just got a new group called the Travel Club. And that was so exciting because now people have ways to share their vacation pictures and point people in the direction of which city would be a good one to visit. If I go to California or Maine or whatever, I happen to be from Maine. So I have a lot of information about that. And now I live in Florida and about an hour from Disney. So I've been posting a lot of Disney pictures because I can't get to Maine. So I'm just going an hour away to Disney. So I'm just posting those pictures. But we have so much to offer, and it's just continually growing in leaps and bounds. And I mean, it's amazing. It's just, what do you call it? It's one of those, I can't think of the word right now, but it's a phenomena.
Yeah,
Really.
it's funny. I think I'm going to do this with you. I feel like you're going to help me with this. So you've seen my comfort circles with Find Your Voice, and now I'm doing it with Follow Your Heart. And you'll see me talk about it again. On Wednesday, we're doing our kickoff for that. But I want to show you, I have another comfort circle that I just identified. And I feel like maybe we can kind of talk through it, because there's your journey of you finding your voice, you sharing it, and you doing what you're doing. And then also you see it in Modern Prairie. And so this is actually, just so you guys know, Kim's going to be starting a podcast. And so this is kind of cool about a podcast, is when you start to notice patterns and things that you're like, wait a minute, that person said this and this person said this, and all the dots start connecting. It's great because then you get to utilize your podcast as a way to research the thing. This is how I did my TEDx talk, was because I started to notice the common patterns. I identified, it was like I'm game, which is the 6-step framework, but the M, which is my people, was the thing that was the shining star. But since I identified that formula, I haven't really had a thing to research. But now all of a sudden, since the actual expert panel, which we're going to be sharing that soon for Follow Your Heart, I showed it to them, and then I just did a podcast interview today, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think that I'm meant to do this now. So, okay, with that, I'm really building this up.
That's amazing.
Okay, so we're going to show it to you. So, okay, here we go. So let's look at this from like you. Okay, let's talk about you. So for those of you listening and you're not watching, well, come on my YouTube and you can watch it there. But for those of you listening, I'll talk through it. But basically, I'm showing Kim my comfort circle framework, which is how the person is able to start at even the traumatic point when the thing happens, and then be able to move them through all these stages. However, they don't have to go through all the stages. They might stop and not continue on, right? Or they could go through them all. And then we're going to talk about how Modern Prairie is going through all these stages. So it starts with the horse. So the horses, I noticed this horse thing when I'm actually, I don't know if I mentioned this in Modern Prairie yet, but I'm creating movies now. So I'm partnering with a movie producer, writer, and then a visual communicator. And we opened up a Do the Thing movie studio. And one of the movies that we're creating is called At Liberty, and it's helping the veterans and active duty and first responders overcome PTSD and combat suicide through community and also equine therapy. And so that was when I noticed the horse. So we each have our own version of the horse where we're not able to even speak. We just went through the big event. It's like a feather brick or semi truck, but most of us unfortunately have to get the semi truck to make a change, right? And it sounds like for you is when your daughter left. And that was kind of the moment. And I feel that really deeply. I know personally how hard that is. And so I think it's like, what is your version of the horse? So do you have something that you mentioned it with the art and you were looking for things to do. Is that kind of in your version of the horse, do you think?
Well, what's funny is that I have so many horses because I I had it all inside, but I never was taught to paint. And I just started painting and I'm sharing my paintings on Modern Prairie. I wanted to learn to play guitar, but I never could afford lessons. So I just taught myself. There are so many things. The main thing that I really desired is to do podcasting and to also be an author because I want to write my book, Growing Up French in an Irish Town. And I want to share my experience with others about what it's like to not be able to speak English and go through elementary school and having a learning disability and growing up in my parents were great parents. I don't want to knock them, but there was alcoholism and there was growing up French. We're talking old time, like the French people do things differently and it's not necessarily normal. And so it can affect you. I have PTSD from it. So I always just wanted to get the word out. My whole goal is to help people. I want to help people. I know what it's like to be in a dark place. I know what it's like to not have any friends. I know what it's like to feel horrible getting old. I know what it's like to have all these health issues and live in chronic pain daily with doing everything you can and getting the injections and the epidurals and blockers and this and that and nothing helps. I know what it's like to feel alone. I know what it's like to feel abandoned. I know what it's like to feel rejected. My whole life I was rejected. So I know what that's like. And there's nothing more than I want in my life than to help people to know that you don't have to wallow in your feelings, your depression, your feelings of inadequacy or fear, or you're never going to be able to do this and you really want to do it, but you're never going to be able to because nobody's ever going to listen to you anyway and you're too old. No, I want to help others see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't care how old you are. You can be 50 or 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. And people can always share their talents and their abilities and their voice, their opinions, their suggestions, their encouragement. You matter. They matter. We matter. And we all learn to do different. And though it can suck, and it did for me, it's just what we have to do. You just do it and you get through it and you do different.
I love what you're talking about too with the learn to do different and then also being able to really express how we all get in that dark place, right? And it's knowing what to do with it. And so, so it sounds like you had a lot of horses in your life.
I had a ranch.
And then was the finding your voice piece. So the next circle, so you guys are listening, I have a horse. And then the next kind of level is finding your voice. And these are comfort circles. So in my goal in life is people will stop saying, what will they stop saying? They'll stop saying, well, not stop saying, but it's like, oh, I'm too scared to get out of my comfort zone, right? Now it's like, I'm just not in the right comfort circle. I need to get out of this comfort circle. And if we could adjust the language and know what it is, then all of a sudden you get to see that you're right on track. You just have to you're missing maybe one piece that can help it go another level. And so, I don't know if you want to speak a little bit to the finding your voice piece. Was that maybe when you were in Modern Prairie, maybe even before Find Your Voice started, where you were starting to find your voice in that community?
Well, before Modern Prairie, I had tried to find my voice by starting my own vlog on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know how to go about it. I would just record myself talking and I I didn't feel comfortable with it. I got all the equipment and everything that I needed and the light and all that. And I get up early in the morning before I go to my teaching job, and I do a teaching of a devotional or something. But that fell short. That's when it started. I wanted to find my voice, but I didn't have enough confidence, because once I would replay the videos and I thought, oh my gosh, that is just horrible. I'm not doing this anymore. I was kind of gave up, and my life got busy and COVID hit. And so now things were different again, and things changed. And then when I finding my voice, I don't know if you can consider writing. I would just get out there and I would just write all kinds of things on Facebook and Instagram, and try to do my apothecary, my home remedies, post my home remedies out there, and tinctures and lotions and infusions and all kinds of things, and just trying to get the word out and trying to get people healthy, because I want it to be healthy. And so I wanted to share. It seems to be that every time I find an interest in something that is beneficial, it's like I got to share it. If I don't share it, it feels like I'm going to burst inside. I want people to know. I don't know what that is. I don't under I don't understand what that is, but I just it's like, why do I have to share? Why do I have that need that if I don't share it, I'm just going to pop?
Yeah, I have the same thing. I know it. It's like, well, I think as we know how hard it is when something's hard, and we feel that, and we don't want other people to have that pain. And if we have the answer that can make it just a little bit easier for someone else, then why wouldn't we want to tell them what it is?
Right, exactly. And that's my goal. And that's what I do in everything. It's like I even thought about I don't have my own circle on Modern Prairie, but I've thought about doing short little bursts of videos of teaching to paint,
I love
like,
that.
like painting with a twist. Well, I want to do painting. I'll give it a name. I'll find a name for it. I want to do something like that. So I want to learn to do, teach people basic painting, not painting that I do, because it takes me days and even weeks. But I want to teach people how they can do a basic painting. They might have always wanted to do it. They can't afford the instructions. It's free. Get yourself some paints and a canvas and some brushes, and look, I'm going to show you how to do it. The tinctures, the home remedies, that can be a liability. So I can't really always work with that. But just getting my voice out there, I want to tell my story. I want to tell my upbringing. I want to tell my challenges. I want to let people know that you're not alone. I was also raised in a violent home. Somebody might relate to that. I want to tell them, you're not the only one. I was raised in a violent home too. Let's talk about this. How did you cope? What did you do? Did you notice that that's when you started withdrawing or internalizing everything? I just want to help people. It's just this desire and this drive that I have, this energy that's inside of me that wants to be like, I want to teach you guys how I got through these last 5 years of living hell. And I'm still dealing with chronic pain, but I found my voice. And yes, the challenge last year helped me to do that, because I hated, like I said, when I did the vlogs, hated it because I had to look at myself and review the videos. And then when we did the Find Your Voice, it was basically record yourself. I still haven't recorded myself this week, but I am going to. But last year it was like, oh gosh, I really don't want to do this. I mean, can I just type? Can I just chat on the private messenger? Can I just post a picture and hashtag it? No, I got a video. So I did. And it got me out of my comfort zone. It got me out of my fear. I saw other people doing it. Other people saw me doing it because people were following me. I got 300 followers on Modern Prairie. So now, and so they follow me and they like what I post. And if they don't like what I post, then they block me and they unfollow me. And that's okay. That's fine. I'm here to help. So if you don't want to follow me, that's fine.
Yeah. So I love what you're saying because you're kind of showing this. I mean, it's literally like this is what I love about this is that it's showing the whole evolution, right? So you found your voice. Now you're sharing your voice with the community. You're wanting to start a podcast. You're sharing even these other groups. And now, just so you guys know, what's so cool about the Do the Thing challenges now is when you've done a prior challenge and you participated, then you get to run your own. You either co-run it or you run your own. And you're one of the ones that's running your own group within the Follow Your Heart. So you have your own accountability cohort, which that's exciting. How does that feel?
That's really exciting because I was looking it over in the email and I said to Jamie, I said, am I the only leader for this group? And she said, yep. They felt that she could do this on your own. And I said, I can do it on my own. And I am. And I'm still looking for 3 people, but I'm getting the word out there that I'm having some issues a little bit with people not replying, but that's okay. Everybody has to work at their own
Yeah.
pace and feel comfortable and don't feel any pressure and making sure there's a lot of people, "Well, I don't know how to do this." And it's like, don't worry about it. It's just, we're just posting and we're just encouraging one another and you're just following your heart. There's not a perfect way to do it. We're all being perfectly imperfect. So
Yeah. And that's what's so cool now with the Do the Thing challenges and the communities that are running them. Cause some of them, they're running them without me. Now it's just the framework that they're doing, which is really fun. And then Modern Prairie, it's so good. I get to do that with Laura. And what's really great though is it's kind of like an embedded leadership program too, on top of that, because you're getting to now run it, you're learning, you're training. And then what's nice is the challenge can grow, but the people are still supported because by the time you decide, maybe by the next one, you'll have started your painting with Kim group on its own circle. And then someone else will be then leading a group within a Do the Thing challenge. Isn't that cool how that works?
that is so cool. I was really happy about that. I was really excited that I was leading a group and I was just so excited. And within our leadership group, we're all chatting on there and talking and we're just all getting along really well. And we're just all so excited. And I can see so much growth. And there are some particular people who from last year Find Your Voice Challenge were so scared. I mean, they were so timid and so scared to videotape themselves. I wasn't timid and scared. I just didn't like to see my face. I don't like anybody to see my face.
Yeah.
So I have to get over that. But these people just got tongue twisted or just scared or whatever. Now they're leaders and the words are just flowing. The things that they're typing and they're being encouraging to others and they're helping others guide them to the right place or whatever. And the words that they're speaking is like, whoa. I saw this today. I was like, wow. I had to say, you are an excellent leader. You have come so far since last year. And it's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. I mean, this challenge, who would have known? Last year, I was so confused. I was like, what is this all about? I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, somebody has to explain this to me. But now it's like, as you got, and I told people this year too, don't be intimidated. Don't be confused. Just read what Stacy and Laura post. Just do what it says. And I said, eventually you're going to get the hang of it. You're going to fall in love with it. You're going to find yourself. It's just like gravity. It just is. When you do the steps and when you participate, you just bloom. And that's what's so nice about this. And being on Modern Prairie, oh my gosh, it's helping. There's so many prairians on Modern Prairie. I mean, thousands and
Yeah.
thousands. And so it's just helping people tremendously.
Yeah, it's so cool. I've heard that now that they've done that bucket list and then Find Your Voice, it's like now when they're going in the other circles, it's sort of starting to like, people are more alive, not more alive, but like talking more kind of thing too.
Absolutely. There is. I see it. I see the difference and it's blowing my mind because I was like, what? Oh my gosh, this person never even spoke before.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's so amazing.
Well,
And I
so
love it.
Yeah, you just talked about this then. That's the horse, right? It's like you're in the room and you're just not ready to talk about it yet, right? And then you get comfortable. You're starting to find your voice. Then you share your voice. And then are you here yet? Monetize your voice? That's the next one.
That's where I want to be. I've been, in regards to monetizing, are you talking about being a social platform influencer where you go from advertising?
So that's actually, I didn't have that on my list, but yeah, I guess that would be another one as a social influencer. It could be you're selling a book, you're getting paid speaking, you're maybe an affiliate of other people's products, it's things like that.
I am an affiliate of one product so far. It's been a year and a half now. I haven't promoted it very much because I've been on Modern Prairie, but I have, as far as monetizing my voice, I haven't gotten paid for that yet. I mean, on social media with being the affiliates of certain products and stuff. I would love to do that. I would love to. I was thinking about that yesterday and was like, how do I go about doing that? I see people with Chick Bloom or Bloom Chick putting on the dresses and advertising the dresses and look at this dress and look at this shirt. And I'm like, I want to do that, but I don't know if I want to see my face.
Yeah, you know what it is?
Do it.
Yeah. It's like, I actually just talked about this today. It's once you really, and it sounds like you're there, Kim, you're here, right? And you're doing the challenges, it's going to come alive, especially this one, follow your heart. But it's like once you tap into your heart-centered mission and what you're here on the earth for, and you feel it in every part of you, and then you start to get guided on where you're supposed to go next. It's always so funny now whenever I'm showing up and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's why I'm here. Even us, we're here right now because we had a podcast interview that I dared you to do during Find Your Voice, but I didn't finish helping her set up the podcast. So the podcast didn't go. And I'm like, well, come on my podcast. So then we can, and I'm like, this is obviously why we're here to have this conversation. And so it's so funny how things work out. If that didn't happen, I don't think we'd be doing this interview.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's exactly where I want it to be, is that's why I said yes to the interview when she asked, is because I wanted to get my voice heard. I wanted to help people. It all boils down to helping others. So that's what I wanted to do. So I thank you so much for the opportunity today to be able to get my voice out and to share with others that Modern Prairie, this platform, is a blessing to so
Yeah.
and the challenges are amazing. And so if you want to grow, if you want to, yes, you have to do different, but it can be good different. And you just got to do it. You just have to do it. You can't, procrastinating isn't going to get you anywhere. You have to just do it. And that's what I tell the journaling club, the journaling gems. That's what I tell the Prairie Pages Club. That's what I tell everybody that I communicate with on the app, is that you just got to do it. You'll know that you know that you know when you're ready to do it. And when you are ready to do it, then just do it. Even if it's different, even if you don't feel comfortable, even if you're scared, do it. Put one foot in front of the other and see where that leads you. And that's why I'm here today. And I appreciate that, because I do want to help others with their voice. And I also want others to hear my voice so that I can help them. So it's a circle. I'm giving, they're receiving, and blah, blah.
Yeah. So let's talk about this next. So now we'll talk about Modern Prairie. So now it's like also this works not just for the person, but it's also for the community, which is really cool. And so Modern Prairie has a horse there. They have their version of the horse. So there's a few different things that I've already identified. One is when you're still the lurker, you're checking it out and maybe not engaging or posting yet. And then maybe you go to like commenting. Yeah. And then but it's not coming from a place of like, it's coming from just as it's safe for me to do it. Right. And then it's also the person, which I think Modern Prairie is really good about this with the Zoom cameras on, but that person could also have their camera off. And it also could be like you guys have the crafting corner, and the book club, I think, is another version of the horse where it's like all these things that you get to meet people where they are.
There's so much. I mean, there's so much now, like the traveling and the crafting. And we have the garden one. And that was something, the gardening one, that was another new different that I was doing that started, I'd say about 4 years ago, is I thought, oh my gosh, I got to grow a garden. And it was complicated in my yard, but I did it. And I've been doing it and I'm still learning. And I have a big garden now and I have an herbal garden and I've taken apothecary classes and I've learned how to make my home remedies and it's exciting. So we have a garden circle and we have the craft circle and we have the quilting circle. This is something new that I've done. I used to watch my mother-in-law quilt and I would sometimes try to help her, but I really didn't feel. I mean, I was raising kids. I really didn't feel like quilting. I'm a quilter now, and because of Modern Prairie, thanks to Tiffany.
Wow.
So I'm on my second quilt
I love
on the
that.
Sheila's. Yeah, we did Melissa's 9 patch back in September, but back to back hurricanes hit in my area. I'm in St. Petersburg, and so back to back hurricanes hit, and everybody lost their homes on the beach. I'm 10 minutes away. It was a catastrophic disaster. And my nephew lost his restaurant and it's just horrible. And I had this quilt and it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to get this quilt done. But come to find out, there really wasn't a rush. I was putting the pressure on me, wanting to get my first quilt project done. So Tiffany in our circle is very kind and very understanding and was always there and said, don't worry about it. The instructions will be there for a year. Don't worry about it. So that was a big help. So now I'm on my second quilt called a crazy quilt. And that one's going a lot better because it can be crazy just like me. So
I love that. What a great name, too. It's so good.
so many circles. So there's so much available and it's just growing.
Yeah. So, okay, this is so good because we're so many options for the horse. And then now there is that safe space for people to find their voice, express themselves, feel seen, and then even sharing the voice, right? Where there's all these extra groups that are popping up with leaders and co-leaders and subgroups. And I actually even know some of the groups have leaders inside the groups. And anyway, it's a whole thing. They've monetized by doing e-commerce products, which supports the app, right? And I'm sure they'll have other ways to.
All right. We have a journaling club too.
Oh, I love that. And then now they have a movement, right? It's an actual movement where women are bonded together by this common goal.
It's supportive. It's to support one another as we age because we're having a hard time with our aging. It's for women over 50 mostly, but anybody. We're not discriminative, but I mean it's targeted towards those people that are doing different, are in change of life and are the empty nesters and retired, or some are still working and they're in their 70s. I mean, it's a supportive group of like-minded but different people.
Yeah.
So
So I have a new name I call, instead of like-minded, maybe you'll help me bring this out, because after I did my TEDx talk and I was talking to people about my people, which is people that have a common goal, everyone was using the words like-minded. And I was like, you know what? It's really, I understand why everyone even ChatGPT, I can't get ChatGPT to change it either. But it's not like you keep saying like-minded, but different, right? So I'm calling it like-hearted. I don't know if that will stay, but because everyone's so different, diverse beliefs, everything, right? Because the goal of the group is the important thing. And then everything else about the people can be different, which is so cool, right?
Absolutely. And we all have different beliefs. We are non-political. We do not judge. It's not your average social media. So we accept one another, even though, there have been, those people have left on their own accord because they don't like that we are non-judgmental. But we are non-judgmental because if you become judgmental, then you wanting people to fill the mold that you have for them and the way that you think you want them to think. That's not the way Modern Prairie is. Modern Prairie is to express yourself, but we do leave politics out only because it's too much of a debate.
Totally.
That's its own entity. It turns into a debate and we don't want any debates. So we leave that out.
Wow.
Other than that, because we don't want it to turn nasty. And so other than that, we just very loving and accepting and non-judgmental. And the whole thing is about support. It's supporting one another, like-hearted, like you said. And that's going to be my new word now. Hearted, I'm going to hear. I'm going to promote that now. Prairie.
Good. Say like-hearted and my people. Those two. That'll be good. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to hashtag it.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
People
I love
that yeah, but I love the my people too, because I feel like they're family. I feel like we are family, and they are my people. They're my tribe.
Yeah.
These Prairians are my tribe, and my motto or whatever, mantra, I don't know. I'm always saying we're Prairian strong. Now, right now in the Pioneer group, I'm saying every time I post, we are Pioneer strong. I love that. But the other circles are, I'm always, always encouraging. We are Prairian strong with the fist pumping. And, we can do this. And I'm there to motivate. And at the same time, I don't know how you feel about this, but when you motivate somebody, doesn't it make you feel good? Doesn't it make you feel like, you know what? I think I need to take my own medicine. So, yes, it's like we can do this. Because there are times that I feel like, oh, I feel like I can't do this, but I'll tell the others, oh, you can do this. And then the minute that I type that out, you can do this, then my whole outlook changes and I go, and I can do this too. And we're going to do this and we're in this together because they're my tribe. So it's a wonderful, wonderful platform. And it's amazing what you're doing on there. And you wouldn't believe the lives that you're touching. This is trickling. This is a domino effect. And this is going to go on and on and on. And it's going to grow and grow and grow. And there are so many people that you're helping. And it's amazing. And I see the growth every day because I'm on there. I'm literally on there. I only sleep like 5 hours. And when I'm not sleeping, I'm on Modern Prairie. I mean, I'll cook and I'll have the phone up and ding, 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 and I'll look at the notification and I'll keep cooking, But the exception, of course, my husband's days off. Then I do spend time with my husband.
You know what's so cool too is I've been able to see it in a whole nother way, having Laura run the challenges with me. And she's the one that came up with the Follow Your Heart Challenge. And it got me to literally all the dares, everything came from Laura. And it's been I know, it's so exciting. It's gotten me to see it so much bigger now, where I'm not the only one that has to run a Do the Thing challenge. And so it's been amazing. It's been really fun working with her. But okay, I would love to have you share with the listeners your number one piece of advice on doing the thing.
My number one piece of advice is to not have any restraints. Do not restrain yourself because you don't think you can do it. No restraints. You have to let go and just shake it off. Shake off the restraints that you've been putting on yourself for all of these years. It's a hard habit to get out of because you're so programmed. I was reading something the other day that the more that your brain doesn't know how to feel. So your brain only knows what you repetitively do. It doesn't have feelings. So if you're constantly restraining yourself, then that's what's programmed in your mind. And that's what you're gonna walk around like a zombie and just like restraining yourself constantly. So don't restrain yourself. Take off the shackles, shake them loose, and just go and do it and do different.
Please share with people where they can find you.
Oh, where they can find me is on Modern Prairie. You can friend me on Kim on Modern Prairie at modernprairie.com on the Modern Prairie app. And you can look me up at Kim Bake and friend me and message me, and I'll be there for you.
Thank you so much for doing this with me, Kim. I really, really, really enjoyed this.
You're welcome. I did too.
All right, you guys, thanks for joining. Do the thing. Don't wait for opportunity. Create it. And hey, guys, have you checked out my Facebook group yet? Go to dothethingcollaboration.com.